Hello, Virgo. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Anna, and this is a love tarot reading for the collective. Not all of the messages that come through in this reading may apply to everyone watching today. So please only take in from this reading what speaks to your soul and what resonates for you and for your situation, and release the rest to the universe. So, Virgo, let's see, what is the universe sharing with the collective today? The person you've been thinking about, wondering about, waiting on, trying to understand is going through internal revolution that's dismantling whatever resistance, confusion, or fear has been keeping them from acting on what they actually feel for you. And this isn't subtle shift in attitude or minor adjustment in behavior. This is complete reversal, total transformation of their approach, fundamental change in how they're thinking about you, about relationship, about their own readiness for what you represent. And that transformation is culminating in decision to make major move toward you, not small gesture, not tentative half step, major move. The kind that requires courage, the kind that makes intentions unmistakable, the kind that changes everything between you definitively. Let me describe in depth what's happening inside them, what's driving this turnaround, and what this major move is going to look like when it arrives. Um, First, understand where they were before this turnaround. They were stuck, caught between what they wanted and what they feared, between attraction to you and resistance to vulnerability that relationship would require. They felt something for you, attraction, connection, pull, but they weren't acting on it. Or they were acting inconsistently, hot and cold, interested then distant, engaged then withdrawn. That inconsistency wasn't manipulation, it was conflict, internal war between part of them that wanted to move toward you and part that wanted to protect themselves from risk of being hurt or disappointed or changed by loving you. Protection was winning. Fear was louder than desire. Safety felt more important than possibility. So they stayed stuck, maintaining distance while wanting closeness, performing casualness while feeling intensity, pretending they didn't care as much as they actually cared. And you felt that stuckness, felt the push pull, felt the contradiction between moments of genuine connection and moments of inexplicable withdrawal. Maybe you've been confused by their behavior, maybe hurt by their inconsistency, maybe frustrated by their inability to just choose, either commit to pursuing connection or walk away entirely instead of keeping you in perpetual limbo. But their stuckness wasn't about you, it was about them, their wounds, their fears, their unresolved patterns. Let's pause here. This reflection invites you to consider whose inconsistent behavior toward you has been most confusing or painful recently. Maybe romantic interest who seems interested sometimes and indifferent other times, who pursues you then pulls back, who acts like they want relationship then acts like they want nothing serious, or ex who can't seem to fully let go but also can't fully come back, who keeps you in orbit without committing to reconciliation, who gives just enough attention to keep hope alive, but not enough to rebuild actual relationship, or friend whose energy toward you keeps shifting, close and confiding sometimes, distant and unavailable other times, making you wonder if you did something wrong or if they're just dealing with their own issues, or person you've been interested in who seems aware of your interest but hasn't reciprocated clearly, hasn't said yes but hasn't said no, hasn't encouraged you but hasn't shut you down. Whoever it is whose behavior has felt like maze you can't navigate, they're the person going through this turnaround, this reflection. Invites you to consider, what would it mean to you if this person finally made clear move toward you instead of staying stuck in ambiguity? Now, let me describe what shifted, what's creating turnaround from stuck to decisive, from fearful to courageous, from unclear to certain. First, catalyst. They witnessed something that made stuckness unbearable. Maybe they saw you with someone else or heard you might be interested in someone else, and jealousy clarified what intellectual uncertainty was obscuring. Suddenly, the idea of losing you became more painful than the risk of pursuing you. Fear of regret exceeded fear of vulnerability. That shift is powerful because when loss becomes real possibility instead of abstract concern, priorities reorganize. What seemed complicated becomes simple. Do I want this person in my life or not? Or, second catalyst, they had experience that provided new perspective. Conversation with friend or therapist that reframed their fear, reflection during alone time that clarified their actual feelings, dream or moment of insight that broke through mental fog, or they tried dating someone else and comparison made them realize what they have with you is different, special, worth the risk they've been avoiding. Or third catalyst, they simply reached limit of how long they could maintain internal conflict. Sitting on fence became more painful than jumping off either side. Indecision itself became unbearable. They're exhausted from ping-ponging, from fighting themselves, from wanting something and simultaneously pushing it away. Or fourth catalyst, timing shifted. External circumstances that made relationships seem impossible are changing, distance closing, availability increasing, obstacles removing. What wasn't viable before is becoming viable now, and they're recognizing that window won't stay open indefinitely. Or fifth catalyst, they did work, therapy, self-reflection, healing, addressing wounds that were making them unavailable. Processing past that was contaminating present, and that work created capacity they didn't have before, capacity to show up, to be vulnerable, to commit, to love properly instead of in broken ways. Likely it's combination, multiple catalysts converging, internal growth plus external pressure plus specific trigger that finally tips balance from stuck to moving. But regardless of what specifically shifted, the result is same. They're done sitting on fence. Done wasting time. Done letting fear dictate choices. This reflection invites you to consider which catalyst feels most likely for your specific person. Jealousy, new perspective, exhaustion with indecision, timing shift, or internal growth. What major move looks like when it arrives, and it's arriving soon, within days to couple weeks for most of you, could be confession, finally saying directly what they've been feeling but not expressing. I have feelings for you. I'm in love with you. I can't stop thinking about you. I want to be with you. Words that remove all ambiguity, that put their feelings on record, that create vulnerability by expressing what can't be unsaid. And confession won't be casual, won't be offhand comment, will be intentional, planned or spontaneous, but either way, significant. Said with weight that makes clear this matters to them. Could be commitment gesture, asking you to be official partner, introducing you to important people in their life, making plans that demonstrate they see future with you, not just present, deleting dating apps, ending other situationships, making you priority instead of option. Could be grand gesture, public declaration, planned event, surprise that demonstrates effort and thought. Something that makes their intentions visible, not just to you, but to others. Not because they're performing, because they're claiming you. Making statement that you matter to them and they want world to know. Could be apology and accountability. I know I've been inconsistent. I know I've hurt you or confused you. I understand why you might not trust my intentions. Here's what I'm committing to differently. Acknowledgement of previous behavior, taking responsibility, offering specific changes, not just vague promises. Could be showing up consistently in ways they haven't before, not just one conversation. Pattern of new behavior, texting daily, making plans in advance, following through, being present in ways that demonstrate shift isn't temporary enthusiasm, but sustained commitment. Or could be physical move, relocating to be near you, making travel plans to see you, closing distance that's been obstacle, or practical move, introducing you to family, asking you to move in, proposing, making financial or logistical commitment that binds your lives together. The specific form varies by situation and relationship stage, but common thread is unmistakable action that demonstrates they're serious, that they've decided, that they're all in instead of halfway. This reflection invites you to consider which type of major move would feel most meaningful coming from this specific person? How you should prepare for this major move arriving. First, get clear on what you actually want. Their turnaround is about them choosing you, but you still get to choose whether you want them. Don't just accept their move because you've been waiting for it. Accept it because you actually want relationship with them based on who they are and what they're offering. If their previous inconsistency damaged trust, acknowledge that. If you've moved on emotionally, acknowledge that. If you need them to prove consistency before you fully invest, state that. Second, prepare to be vulnerable in return. If they're taking risk of confession or commitment, you need to match that vulnerability with honest response, not game playing, not making them work for it to punish previous behavior. Honest engagement with what they're offering. Third, set boundaries if needed. I'm interested, but I need to see consistent behavior, not just words. I want this, but I need us to address specific concern. I'm willing to try, but I need these specific things from you. Boundaries aren't rejection, they're conditions for healthy yes. Fourth, communicate your own feelings clearly. If you love them, say it. If you're scared, say that too. If you need time, ask for it. If you're ready, immediately express that. Match their directness with your own. This is moment for truth, not strategy. Fifth, manage expectations. Major move creates beginning, not automatic happily ever after. Real relationship still requires work, communication, compromise, navigating differences. Don't expect perfection just because they've made grand gesture. Expect human partnership with normal challenges. This reflection invites you to consider, if this person makes major move toward you, what would you need from them beyond initial gesture to actually build sustainable relationship? Let me address potential skepticism you might be feeling, because if this person has hurt you before, if their inconsistency has been painful, you might be thinking, I'll believe it when I see it. That skepticism is protective, valid, earned through experience of being disappointed. But don't let protection become wall that prevents you from receiving what you've been wanting. Yes, stay aware. Watch for whether actions match words. Notice whether consistency continues past initial enthusiasm. Protect yourself with appropriate boundaries, but also stay open. Give them chance to demonstrate they've actually changed. Give yourself chance to receive love you deserve instead of rejecting it preemptively to avoid potential pain. People can change. Growth is real. Turnarounds do happen, not always, but sometimes. And dismissing all possibility keeps you stuck as surely as their previous stuckness kept them stuck. How to distinguish genuine turnaround from temporary performance. Genuine turnaround includes accountability for previous behavior. They acknowledge they were wrong, inconsistent, hurtful. They don't minimize or justify. Performance skips accountability and just tries to move forward like nothing was wrong. Genuine turnaround includes specific changes in behavior that you can observe. Not just, I'm different now, but actual different actions. Performance is all words without corresponding behavior shifts. Genuine turnaround is sustained. Consistency continues past initial weeks. They maintain effort even after honeymoon phase of renewed connection. Performance fades when they get comfortable again or when they secure your commitment and no longer feel need to try. Genuine turnaround happens because they did work therapy, self-reflection, addressing root issues, not just because circumstances created pressure. Performance is reactive to external factors without internal transformation. Goes away when pressure reduces. Trust, but verify. Give them opportunity to prove themselves while protecting yourself with boundaries. Watch behavior over time, not just initial burst. This reflection invites you to consider, what specific behavioral evidence would you need to see to believe this turnaround is genuine and lasting? What happens after major move, assuming you say yes to exploring relationship? Initial honeymoon period where everything feels amazing, relief of finally being together, joy of reciprocated feelings, excitement of new relationship phase. Enjoy that. Let it be good. Don't immediately start waiting for other shoe to drop. Then reality phase where you both have to navigate actual partnership, different communication styles, different needs, different histories and wounds, normal relationship challenges. Don't interpret normal challenges as evidence that turnaround wasn't real. Distinguish between difficulty and dysfunction. Difficulty is we disagree about something and need to find compromise. We have different preferences and need to negotiate. We triggered each other and need to communicate through it. Dysfunction is patterns of manipulation, disrespect, violation of boundaries, refusal to take accountability, consistent prioritization of their needs over yours. Difficulty is normal and navigable. Dysfunction is red flag requiring reassessment. Then deepening phase where trust builds through sustained positive experience, where you move from hoping this works to believing this is solid, where history you build together starts outweighing individual histories you brought separately. That's when relationship becomes foundation rather than just exciting possibility. When it's partnership you can build life on instead of connection, you're constantly questioning. But getting to that phase requires both people doing work, communicating, showing up, choosing each other consistently. This reflection invites you to consider, are you ready for actual relationship with this person? Or are you more attached to idea, fantasy than reality of partnership with real human? Let me address what happens if major move doesn't arrive in time frame you expect or inform you want. First, recognize that timing isn't always precise. Soon might mean next week for some, next month for others. Energy readings give direction, not exact schedules. So if week passes without major move, that doesn't mean reading was wrong. Might mean few more weeks needed for circumstances to align. Second, recognize that your perception of major move might differ from what actually constitutes major move for them. You might be expecting a grand gesture. They might make what feels to them like huge step, introducing you to one important friend, using relationship label for first time, making plan for month from now instead of just next week. Pay attention to shifts in their behavior relative to their baseline, not just relative to your fantasy of what romantic gesture should look like. Third, if major move genuinely doesn't arrive after reasonable time, that's information. Might mean they're not at turnaround point yet. Might mean turnaround is about different person, not this one. Might mean your role is moving forward without them rather than waiting for them. Don't wait indefinitely. Give reasonable time for something to shift. But set internal deadline. If nothing changes by date, I'm making different choice. Waiting forever for someone to choose you is abandoning yourself. At some point, you choose you by moving on. You remain in complete control of how you respond when major move arrives. You can receive it with openness or with suspicion, with gratitude or with punishment, with genuine engagement or with testing. The power is yours. It always has been. You may notice reading this has created hope mixed with protective doubt, hope that finally things are shifting. Doubt about whether shift will actually manifest or whether you can trust it if it does. Whatever you're feeling, Honor it. Take what resonates. Softly release the rest. Trust yourself. Before we close, I want to ask you something. If person you've been thinking about made major move toward you this week, would you say yes immediately or would you need to see consistent behavior first? Drop your honest answer in the comments. And this, what specific action from them would convince you that turnaround is real and not just temporary enthusiasm? Big turnaround. They realize it's time to make major move. And when that move arrives, whether it's confession, commitment, gesture, apology with accountability, consistent showing up, or practical step that binds your lives together, your job is receiving it with appropriate combination of openness and wisdom, matching their vulnerability with your own honesty, setting boundaries that protect you while giving genuine shift, genuine chance, and building actual relationship instead of just enjoying initial relief of finally being chosen, not eventually, within days to couple weeks, already building, already coming. Trust yourself with this trust that you can distinguish genuine turnaround from performance. Trust that you deserve consistency, not just intensity. Trust that saying yes doesn't mean abandoning discernment. Trust that you can receive love while protecting yourself appropriately. See you in the next one. And listen, turnaround is beginning, not conclusion. Major move creates opportunity. What you both build after that move determines whether opportunity becomes lasting partnership or just another disappointment. Show up ready to build. Stay open. Stay wise. Stay worthy. Their major move is coming. Be ready to respond authentically. Take care.